How do you access the controls of your website? How do you set up email addresses under its domain name? What web design software should you go with? In this video, we're talking about what to do after you purchase your domain name and hosting service. I'm Jamie.
I'm Mark.
And we're Social Sudo. So, Mark, what's our next step after getting a hosting service?
Yeah, the next step is to contact your hosting provider and learn how to control your website. You can do this by logging directly into your account. Let's say you're with Bluehost or you're with Arvix. You log into that account and there should be a link that takes you directly over to your control panel. They'll provide you with a username and password. If that is not intuitive or easy to find, you want to reach out to support and you just want to ask for that information from the service that you're subscribing to.
So, what is the control panel of your website?
Yeah, the control panel is basically what allows you to build and construct everything that is your website that's attached to that domain. So here what I actually have is the control panel for one of my businesses. And you'll see here that we have files. That's your file manager. So basically whenever you build your home page, your support page, your product pages, that's all going to be cataloged and stored there. That's where all of that information is then stored and then made publicly available. You can also decide if you want to hide it or if you're working on it. That's when sometimes it'll say, sorry, our website is down, we are doing maintenance. You'll also have a few other features in here that'll help you build your website. So here you can see some links to WordPress, PrestaShop, basically the design capabilities that allow you to build. You can also create your email addresses here. So if you, for instance, I have an email address on socialsudo.com, mark@socialsudo.com. This is where I can create it, control my spam filters. If I'm selling products on my website and I want my customers to direct emails to that portion of my business, I can create an email address that says products@socialsudo.com, yada, yada, yada. You can also see some other features in here, just gives you some metrics on basically the bandwidth of your site, how many people are going to it. And you can also purchase your SSL certificate here, which is something that we talked about in the last video.
You briefly mentioned different web design softwares that we could use. What should we use and how do we link that up with our control panel?
So there's a couple things that you can do here based on prior knowledge of web construction. Some people, if you want to build from scratch, almost start with a blank sketchbook and create everything and control everything. If you have a bunch of time, you can go right to Adobe Dreamweaver and you can build every single page custom for your website. I can tell you from my experience, my first business, Macroscopic Solutions, we did that, and it was quite a big challenge to then transfer the site over to off-the-shelf web design platform, which had a lot of tools that basically allowed us to open up our website to commerce. So if we didn't have that, we'd have to build it all from scratch. So what I honestly would recommend if you're starting out, you don't have a lot of experience in this, is to just use an off-the-shelf provider like Wix.com or WordPress. And in our case, we do use WordPress.com. It has a bunch of built-in plug-in functionality that allows us to customize and build our website much quicker than we would if we were starting from scratch.
And so you're saying if we use something like Adobe Dreamweaver, we would need to have more experience, like need to know how to program, whereas other services like WordPress, you don't necessarily need that technical knowledge?
Yeah, so basically in Dreamweaver you could refer to Google if you needed to learn how to do something, but the learning curve is just much, much steeper. With something like WordPress, let's just say you wanted to start selling t-shirts and you needed to take credit cards. You can literally go to Google and just say, in WordPress, what plugin do I need to install in order to enable that type of functionality? And generally, 9 times out of 10, you'll find the answer you're looking for to enable that pretty quickly. So that's the difference. WordPress is just going to allow you to get to the finish line a little bit faster, but it might not allow you to create the website exactly as you have it envisioned in your head. Dreamweaver will allow you to create it exactly as you want it, but that's only because you're starting from scratch.
Great. Okay, so today we talked about what to do after we get our hosting service and domain name, what cPanel is, what different web design software is. Next, we're going to take a look at WordPress and specifically how that web design software looks.